on the death of Clive Barker and bring in South African football legend Lucas Radebe, who was in fact part of the 1996 AFCON winning squad, and Sandile Zungu, who is the president of Amazulu. Sandile and Lucas, thank you so much for making time for us. Let me just start by getting your immediate reaction to this sad news around the passing of Clive Barker. Sandile.
Well, we were aware that Clive Barker was not well. The last time he came to see us play, Lamontville Golden Arrows at Princess Magogo, he didn't look like in his best shape. And we were informed that he was not well and he was taking a lot of strain. The family seems to be at peace with the development. At Amazulu, we are deeply saddened by the loss, but at peace that he is at peace. May his soul rest in eternal peace and rest, and may he rise in glory. He did well for Amazulu Football Club, and he did well for the country.
Yeah. Lucas, for you, what are your reflections, especially of the times that you had spent with him? You yourself was part of the class of 1996.
Yeah, very sad indeed. You don't. It's always actually not nice, when somebody passes. But if somebody that's been close to you and you kept close ties, it gets very difficult. But he's lived his life to the best. I think his contribution to the national team, his contribution to football as a whole in the country is unbelievable. But yes, I was aware of Clive not being well. I've seen Clive like about a few months ago, where I realized that he's not in a good frame of mind. He's not, himself. He's struggling. I visited them at home with the wife.
Sandile, this is someone whose coaching career spans about 42, 43 years, having mentored many football teams. What do you think are the lessons to take from how he was coaching teams? He's been regarded as the most successful coach of Bafana Bafana.
Well, I grew up at Umlazi, and I remember during the mid-70s, when I was at primary school, and Clive used to come to the township to offer coaching lessons to aspiring soccer players at primary school level. And at that time, there was a competition called UBC, which was supposedly sponsored by the Dairy Association, maybe specifically Glover. Clive became a very familiar face in Durban soccer circles, even in townships, when it was not fashionable for a white person to roam the streets of black townships. That's Clive. As Amazulu Football Club, he remains probably one of the most successful coaches. We're not buying the face of the deceased. When we say the last cup that we lifted as Amazulu Football Club, way back in 1992 in the Coca-Cola Cup when we beat Kaizer Chiefs, Clive Barker was on the bench. The last cup that Bafana Bafana won in 1996, Clive Barker was on the bench. Yes, to say he was the most successful coach in South Africa of Bafana Bafana in particular or specifically is not an understatement. We do hope that, as I'm sure he would have wished, that even during his lifetime, that accomplishment is overtaken by something better. We do hope that with his departure, he will go and open those valves for his team, Amazulu Football Club, and for Bafana Bafana, that we begin to achieve things greater than what he accomplished for us. We'll remember him.
Lucas, what did that win in 1996, the Africa Cup of Nations victory, what did it mean for him and for the rest of the team?
I mean, for us, it was a historic moment, for everyone, especially, the country was in a time of reconstruction, and we had such a great group of individuals, coming together, forming a formidable squad. And I think having Clive, joining or at the head of that, he was one of them. He was one person who would lifted everyone else. I mean, not only just the players, but I mean, at camp, I used to see him kissing the ladies that on the forehead, kissing the ladies that were working at the hotel. He was a father figure, to the team. He lifted each and every one of us. Every day when you see him, he was so joyful, and you could see that he's so proud, to have been in that stage where, for the first time we're hosting the Africa Cup of Nations in our home soil, and being in charge, he wanted to win, and he was a big part of that team, especially wanted to make sure that Madiba, that Madiba magic existed in the team. It was absolutely wonderful to see. I mean, we didn't know only just Clive. I mean, we got to know the family, we got to know the wife, and his sons, and that's the kind of person he was. And for us, we resonated with him. He was there. He wasn't just a coach, but he was one of us. When we dance, he would dance with us. When we sing, he will sing with us. And that he was so amazing. He could speak the Zulu. He could try to speak to us, and he made us feel so comfortable and so inspirational. So it was absolutely amazing, to have had him, and I think he deserved, the success that he had in that year. Absolutely great man and a great coach.
Yeah, and the lessons, Lucas, you think other coaches can take from him? Because also he was a coach at that time when, things were politically charged in South Africa, just the environment, and still he was managing a team and leading it in that difficult environment, keeping you focused and encouraged. What are some of the lessons you think some coaches can take from his leadership style?
Yeah, I think his leadership style was absolutely different from most of the coaches. Obviously, yes, footballers involved, but obviously he was leading from behind, not from the front, to be honest, because he let us players take charge and be responsible, for what we are engaging on, and he was engaging as individuals, as family matters and not football matters mostly, but he will sit with us and talk about families and ask about the wives and the girlfriends, and he managed to bring us closer to him, and with the situation surrounding us, to be honest, he made us forget about what's happening with the politics and that, but to focus on what we know best and what we can achieve, as a team, which was absolutely brilliant. And for me, that's one of the things that I could learn from him. That sometimes you don't have to lead from the front. You're gonna have to lead from behind.
Okay. Yeah. Lucas Radebe, thank you so much for your reflections, and thanks to Sandile Zungu as well, who's the president of AmaZulu.